What's going on? It's coffee time. Oh, oh. It's coffee time. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. It's February 16th, 2021. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. I'm not gonna lie, yesterday was not a great day. Yesterday was a challenging day. Did the best I could. I got some work done, got some client work done, some whistlekick work done, and it went well. I did try to work on some other things that required a little more creativity, and they didn't happen. So I'm gonna start the day with that. I'm gonna chip away at that. Now today's an interesting day because it's like all recording, it's all meetings, all episodes. It just, in my calendar, when I have an appointment that has to happen at a fixed time, because I schedule everything. But, if I say, oh, I've got to do this thing, I've got to, I don't know, work on this book, that doesn't have to happen exactly at 10 o'clock. So if there's an appointment with a person, that's color-coded red. Tuesday's almost an entirely red day. Just all red. Connect with Andrew this morning and record I don't know what. I don't know how many. And then I've got, I think, one guest episode this afternoon. Yeah. Is there anything else going on today? No. Just phone calls and meetings and episodes. Went to the gym for a little bit yesterday. It probably shouldn't bother me this much, but there was somebody on the treadmill who was just on a phone call the whole time, and she was loud. Like, loud. I could almost hear her with my headphones in, and I was 20 feet away. I found that very annoying. I found myself more so annoyed for the person who was near her on the other treadmill. Man. I just don't understand some people. Some people are just rude. And then I left my water bottle at the gym. And for some reason, losing things really bothers me. And I think it has something to do with my childhood. I think it has something to do with my mother really getting on me about misplacing things. It stresses me out. It could be a $2 thing. In this case, it's like a $8 thing. And it stresses me out. Like I almost drove back to the gym last night to get it. That's how much it was stressing me. Which is ridiculous, and it shouldn't. So those of you out there, remember, things you tell your kids, it's gonna stick with them. What else happened? It's snowing. Again, still. It's always snowing. It's always snowing. One of the things I've been thinking about the last few days is when is the right time to start on the next novel? The response has been pretty positive. It's I'll write another one. I'll write the sequel. But when do I do that? I don't know. I know not now. I'm not ready. It'll be longer. It'll take more time. But now I've got a process kind of dialed in, so that'll go much faster. I went to bed early. Like, it wasn't even 9 o'clock when I went to bed. Ate some dinner. Slept. Read a book. Finished a book. There was one of the most recent... I don't read very many books. I just don't. But something about the Hunger Games books many years ago. The My ex had put them in my hand, said, "Read these." So I read them. And they were good. And so a prequel popped up that I read that I really enjoyed until like the last two chapters, and then it felt like the author went, "Oh, we got to wrap this up." It felt inconsistent. It felt like lazy writing. I didn't like it. It made me angry. I think it's important in any story that the characters stay consistent. And if they're going to start acting differently, you have to explain why. In this book, there was some dramatic shift. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy what was going on with the character. So, if you read it, or have read it, what is it called? A story of songbirds and snakes, something like that. Good morning, Nathan. Let me know what you thought of it. The personal YouTube channel is doing well. It just keeps adding people, and feedback's been positive. We'll give it another week or two and get some more videos recorded. Is there anything else happening today? I have to water the plants. Oh, Nathan says the teaching front kicks was great. Thank you. Let's see, I think there were two videos that I recorded that didn't go up, and one of them, I don't think I put up the teaching sidekicks one. Which, if I did, I might take it down because I've got a better way of doing it. I missed some pieces on it. So, because I want people to get better at learning, and if I share some of the tools that I've come up with on how to teach stuff, especially stuff that you can teach over Zoom. You can teach somebody how to do a front kick over Zoom. You can teach somebody how to do a side kick over Zoom. If you teach them a front kick and a side kick, you can teach them a round kick, a roundhouse kick. We did a video on a back kick. In karate, most schools, that's your 4 basic kicks. Taekwondo, you might swap out back kick for axe kick. Axe kick's a hard kick. It's a hard kick to break down. Best thing to do with an axe kick is just have a visual. Put the bottom of your foot on the top of this, and now pull through. After they learn a front kick, that's all you do. I learned that. I like doing that kind of stuff. I like breaking down complicated things into simpler concepts. I enjoy that challenge. I like working with my mind. I don't like doing busy work. Once I figure out how to do something, I don't like having to do it again. I don't feel like that's the best use of my skill set. But that's not the way the world works. Okay. Do we have anything else to say? I don't think so. We've got some questions, some comments, and you know what? I say this periodically. Some came in an email. So shout out to Chris, who, I don't know if Chris watches or listens, but shout out to Chris for emailing me with some questions that he had. So we may not get to all these today. I might do like one of his today, And then there's 3, so 1 each the next 3 days. My coffee's not as hot as I would like it to be. It's very tasty because I just ground it. Ground it? Yeah, I just ground it. I mean, connect to the internet. I'm connected to the internet. Of course I'm connected to the internet. What are you doing? Right. Come on. Obtain an IP address, please. Technology. You guys ever watch those videos on YouTube of the guy or the guys, they go into the woods and they're like, oh, we're going to build a super sweet house out of nothing but this stick. And it usually has like a swimming pool, and inevitably they're using termite dung mixed with mud to make cement. Yeah. Those are really cool videos. I enjoy watching those because that's insane levels of productivity. I don't want Facebook open right now. Come on. Come on, very old tablet. Let's try again. Let's close all these things. This tablet is ancient. I am connected to the internet. Oh, do you again think I'm not? Alright, fine. We'll connect to this. I've got more than one network around here. Oh, you know the other thing I did yesterday? Speaking of equipment, I uploaded a video to Patreon talking about some thoughts on hand positioning, guard positioning, and used a new feature on the gimbal that follows. So it followed me. It was my first time experimenting with that. And so if you're on Patreon in the, what is it, the VIP tier, we called it, $10 and up a month, you get access to that video. But I'm going to use that feature more. The hope with that is that with it, I could go outside or go into the warehouse and record some stuff and have it follow me, which is kind of neat. We'll see how it goes. It's new tech for me. Hey, there we go. It's working. Okay. Here we go. What do I got today? I've got stuff from Frank. And I've got these questions here from Chris. So I've got 5 quotes from Frank, George Foreman Part 2. So I'm going to do a few of these, watch the time, and then we'll end up with one of Chris's. All right. Remember, if you have things you want me to talk about, you just got to drop it in the comment section, or you can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. There's more to boxing than hitting. There's not getting hit, for instance. If you've trained for a while, you know that it is relatively easy to hit someone. What makes it more challenging is hitting someone in such a way that they do not hit you back immediately after. This is one of the major complaints from people who don't like point sparring, because it removes the follow-up. So you end up with certain techniques that would not be super applicable in a more realistic confrontation. For example, a blitz or going over the top with a back fist, whatever you call it. It's a wonderful technique. It works incredibly well in point sparring. It's one that I've used many times. but you tend to end up very close to the person, and on the street, one might expect that they would and then grab you. So when you look at any combative, any sport, yeah, you've got the balance of hitting and not getting hit, and everything else stems from that. Footwork puts you in a position to hit or to not get hit. Your hands being up help you, or your hand positioning, if we go back to the video I made yesterday, hand positioning relates to not getting hit, but hopefully sets you up so you can hit. It all comes from there. It's offense and defense. And maybe you've even had a martial arts school that explains it that way. You've got offense that hopefully leads to defense, defense that will quickly lead to offense. It's yin yang. It all integrates when done best or well. You have to keep your goal in mind and never lose sight of it. I envisioned myself winning the heavyweight title for 10 years before I actually captured it. If you're not driven to do your best, you'll never reach the excellence, the level of excellence in your life. To say it another way, what's your why? We've talked about that frequently over the years. What's your why? Why do you do what you do? Why are you trying to get better? Why do you train? Why do you show up? What's your motivation? If you don't know your motivation, then you're just going through the motions, and it's going to be really hard to put in time when you don't want to put in time. What's my why? Why do I train? Because it keeps me sane. Why do I do whistlekick? Because I'm trying to change the world. And so when you go through personal or professional challenges like I am right now, where I'll be honest, I don't want to work. I don't want to show up. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to my computer and spend all day recording. But at the same time, I do. Because I know that there is a finite amount of work that has to be done to get to the next level. And every little bit I do chips away at that. And so maybe I'm not able to show up at 100% and do the best work I can, but I'm going to show up and do the best work that I can in this moment. And that's all any of us can do. It's not always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it sucks. But if you're clear with yourself on why you do what you do, it becomes a lot easier to show up on the days that you don't want to. All I've ever tried to tell anyone is that I'm not a black man or a white man or anything else. All I've ever been was an American. Well, it's the one thing that I readily say when discussions even adjacent to this come up is that I'm only aware of my own experience. And the last thing I'm going to do is try to say what is or is not true of someone else with a different experience. I don't know. I'm watching the plow and seeing. I don't think there's that much snow out there yet. We were supposed to have more by now. It's been what? 10 hours? Close to 12 hours since the advisory. Very little snow. And I'm fine with that. So when someone like George Foreman makes a comment like this, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to disagree. If I had the opportunity to speak with him one-on-one, I might try to understand more. Because I think that is a key that is missing when we discuss differences, is a lack of understanding. That when people discuss the differences inherent in anything, they either highlight the pros or cons of differences. We do that in martial arts styles, don't we? Oh, well, this, in this style, this is better than this. And you know what? Here's a great example. There are a couple martial art memes accounts where they claimed to be martial art memes that were administered by two karate people. And the majority of, not the majority, a large portion of their memes were at the expense of Taekwondo. I mean, just really trashing Taekwondo. And one of them, I said, hey, what? And I have no problem with humor, right? Like you look at Master Ken and he makes fun of everything. But this first one, I said, why is it always Taekwondo that the joke is at the expense of? There was no reply. That post simply had the comments deleted and commenting turned off. That's all I needed to know. So I unfollowed that one. And then the second one showed a couple attractive women kicking high. And the caption was something to the effect of, I guess there is a way to make Taekwondo look good. So my comment was, what did I say? It was something that meant to call attention to the fact that it was inappropriate and a person didn't get it. So I deleted my comment and unfollowed that one too. Because I didn't want to be associated with either one. I didn't want to show support to people who are going to continue to divide and just be crappy people. And that's what they were doing. We all have different experiences and understandings and lives. But there's a lot to learn from each other. And if you're going to be around people who are just arrogant and assume that they know what it's like to be someone else, that doesn't help anyone. It's a missed opportunity, at least. It's divisive and sets things back at worst. Boxing is like jazz. The better it is, the less people appreciate it. Oh, that's really cool. If you ever watch someone when you watch really good boxing, there isn't a tremendous amount of just slugging it out, right? There's footwork, there's head movement, there's poetry in motion. But people who don't understand boxing don't like watching that. They like watching people punch each other. It's not really boxing, that's a fight. It's different. But the more people understand boxing, the more they can see the skill that goes into it, the technique. If you're a martial artist and you have never watched boxing, you should probably watch some boxing. If you want to watch great footwork, watch the lighter weights. They have to move. They have to move quickly. You need that advantage because they are less likely to have a knockout in the lighter weight divisions. Not saying it doesn't or cannot happen. Absolutely not saying that. Don't want to get punched by any of those people, male or female. But just as a question of mass, those knockouts, from my understanding, I could be wrong, occur less than in the heavyweight division. But there's something to learn there. So you can watch boxing at home, and if somebody else wants the TV, Jeremy gave me homework. I have to watch boxing. There's plenty of boxing on YouTube to watch. And our final one over here today. It's very important that people know that I really enjoy everything that has happened to me. And I tell my kids, you're not going to be the tallest, fastest, prettiest, the best track runner, but you can be the nicest human being that someone has ever met in their life. And I just want to leave that legacy that being nice is a true treasure. It is. One of the things that I've always strived for, I know I am not the best liked person. I speak my mind. I challenge people when they're being jerks. I'm busy. I talk about intense things. I don't do surface friendships. If you're my friend, you are my friend. But even the people who don't really like me likely respect me. They know that I'm honest, I am kind, and that if I'm going to show up for you, you're going to get my best. And I would much rather have that as my legacy than to have people just crowd around me with BS friendships. There's a line from an Ice-T song that I may have shared in the past, and it when something goes on and it leaves me with fewer people in my circle than I had, and someone departs for one reason or another, I'm reminded of this line. Don't be tripping if your luck's gone bad. Be glad it'll empty out the expletive in here, friends you had. Would you rather build a house on a very small but stable foundation, or a much broader but shallower, even rickety one? When you have anchor points in your life that you can work from, you can get a lot done. You can do a lot of good things. And I don't know if he was predicting the future or not, but all three of Chris's quotes, well, two of the three, have to do with boxing. So the question, these are questions from Chris. And the one we're going to read today, what would be the boxing equivalent of a first-degree black belt? I don't know. I don't know that there is one. The place that I'm operating from out of ignorance with boxing that I think is relevant is time. My imagination is that there may be a rough correlation between someone earning a black belt and taking a pro fight. I don't know. Because when we say pro doesn't necessarily mean that you're on TV and fighting for a lot of money. There are amateur fights. There are, below amateur fights, what people seem to call smokers. And I could see a pro fight being somewhere in the correlation of a first-degree black belt. But what if you're not competing? What if you're just boxing? Well, even sparring in boxing is often pretty intense, and I would say probably more intense than most of us experience in karate, taekwondo, etc. sparring. So there could be something there. But I think I would need more experience. So how do you work backwards? What's the definition of a black belt? It varies. And you can point to specific skills or knowledge. But for me, it's the full awareness, I think we can use that word, of the concepts and curriculum of a style. There are plenty of schools that have additional forms beyond first-degree black belt, maybe even combinations. But I am not aware of any school that has said, okay, now you're a second-degree black belt. We're going to teach you this kick that we haven't taught before. or this fancy punch. It's conceptual. You may learn different ways to put things together, but so in boxing, there's less material generally. You got 4 punches. You got some footwork. You got some head movement. You've got hands. It's not easy. Simple, but it's not easy. So the best equivalent might be a competency in that body of knowledge such that you know you are able to help yourself progress further. I think that's the best that I can come up with. We should probably get a boxer. We should probably find somebody who has gone reasonably far as a boxer, but also has, a karate or taekwondo or kung fu or something background that can help relate it to the rest of us. Because I consider boxing as a potential traditional martial art, depending on who and how. Good question from Chris. Sorry I couldn't give a more definitive answer. All right. If you are watching, thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Go check out something else that we've done. Check out all the things that we got going on at Whistlekick. Check out whistlekick.com. Once the show closes, leave a comment or a question or feedback or something below, and I'll respond to it tomorrow because we do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time here on YouTube. Thanks, everybody. I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.